When you hear the word Iran, what's the first thing that comes to mind? For a lot of us, for decades, it's been headlines about sanctions, conflict, and nuclear tensions. It's a story we know pretty well. But there's another story, a completely different one that unfolds when you step into its cities, where these stunning turquoise mosques just glow in the sun, and ancient ruins literally rise up out of the desert. So let's do that. Let's step beyond the headlines and explore that story.
You see, you really have a tale of two Irans. On one side, you have the Iran of geopolitics, the story of international friction and economic pressure. But then there's the Iran that thousands of travelers see every single year, a land of humming bazaars, absolutely incredible hospitality, and this enduring legacy of the Persian Empire. This explainer, it's all about bridging that gap.
Okay, first things first, let's clear something up that's actually super important. For centuries, the West called this place Persia, right? A name that's all tangled up with its ancient imperial history. But the people who live there, they've long called their home Iran. So in 1935, the government made it official. Today, when you say Persia, you're really talking about that deep, epic history. Iran is the modern country. It's a small difference in words, but it tells a really big story.
So here's our game plan for getting to know this place a little better. We're going to start with the dramatic geography, then dive into the culture and the people. From there, we'll journey through its imperial past, face its modern complexities, and finally, try to wrap our heads around its enduring story.
First up, a land of extremes. Look, you can't really get a nation until you get the land it's built on. And Iran's geography, it's as strategic as it is diverse.
Let's start with this number, 1/5. Because that is how much of the entire world's daily oil supply passes through the Strait of Hormuz. It's this super narrow waterway right to the south of Iran. So this single geographic fact ties the country's fate directly to the global economy. It's a huge deal. But it's not just about strategic waters. Inside its borders, Iran is just this incredible mix of landscapes. Up north, you've got these dense, humid forests along the Caspian Sea. But travel south, and you are in some of the most vast and dry deserts on the planet. And all of it is framed by these massive, snow-capped mountain ranges.
And the contrast is, well, it's wild. On one hand, you have the Hercanian forests. This is an ancient, misty ecosystem that's been around for up to 50 million years. I mean, that's a relic from before humans were even a thing. Then, just over a mountain range, you've got the central deserts, which get almost no rain, and where the summer heat is just absolutely scorching. It's like two different worlds in one country.
All right, so let's move from the land to the people, because this is where we find the living, breathing heart of a civilization, one that's been shaped by thousands of years of tradition. Now, here's something that might actually surprise you. Iran is a really young country. About half the population is under 35. This is mostly thanks to a big population boom after the 1979 revolution. What that means is that modern Iran is being shaped by a whole generation that has no memory of the country before that time. They're the ones filling its universities, its cities, and its workforce.
Okay, and if you ever travel to Iran, you will definitely encounter this. It's called Taraf. It's this beautiful and sometimes, kind of confusing social dance of politeness. A shopkeeper might refuse your money at first, or a host will insist you take the very last piece of food. It's this centuries-old ritual where you offer things repeatedly to show generosity, and you refuse them to show modesty before you finally accept. It's a core part of Iranian social grace.
And maybe no tradition is more important than Nowruz, the Persian New Year. It's a celebration of spring that's over 3,000 years old. 3,000! It's way older than modern Iran itself. Across the country, it brings millions of families together for huge feasts, and they set up these beautiful symbolic tables, all to mark a moment of renewal that connects them directly to their ancient past.
And of course, you can't talk about Iranian culture without talking about the Persian carpet. These aren't just floor coverings, they're literally hand-woven stories. Each pattern is so intricate, and it can take months or even years of meticulous work to finish. They might represent lush gardens or animals or bits of folklore, turning wool and silk into a reflection of the nation's artistic soul.
Okay, now let's journey back in time. The legacy of ancient Persia isn't just locked away in museums. It's etched right into the landscape, in these magnificent ruins and historic cities that are still standing today. So to really get the sheer scale of this history, you've got to look at the Achaemenid Empire. Founded way back in 550 BCE, it grew to become one of the largest, most powerful civilizations of the ancient world. Its ceremonial capital, Persepolis, was this jaw-dropping masterpiece of imperial power.
until its story took a very dramatic turn with the arrival of Alexander the Great. And the legacy of that era, and all the ones that followed, it lives on in these stunning cities. In Isfahan, you've got the immense Naqsh Jahan Square, which was the centerpiece of a former imperial capital. You go to Shiraz, and the famous pink mosque turns morning sunlight into this kaleidoscope of color. It's incredible. And in Yazd, you can see the genius of desert architecture with these ancient wind catchers that have been naturally cooling buildings for centuries.
Let's just go back to Persepolis for a second, because carved into its stone staircases are these unbelievably detailed reliefs. They show delegations from all across the empire, Egyptians, Indians, Ethiopians, all of them bringing gifts to the king. It's like a snapshot, frozen in time, of just how multicultural and expansive this ancient empire really was. So all of this deep, deep history brings us right into the 21st century and to Iran's modern paradox, where its incredible past meets the very complex realities of today's world. The skyline of the capital, Tehran, tells this story perfectly. You've got the soaring Malad Tower, finished in 2007, a real symbol of a forward-looking modern Iran. But not far away stands the Azadi Tower, built back in 1971. Its design is this beautiful mix of modernism and ancient Persian architecture. Two symbols, two different eras, all in one city. Iran's economy is a story of huge potential and huge challenges. The country is sitting on some of the largest oil and natural gas reserves on Earth. I mean, immense natural wealth. And yet, decades of international sanctions have restricted trade and created some serious economic headwinds, making it really tough to turn all that potential into sustained growth. And yet, there's another side to the economy. Before recent tensions picked up, Iran was attracting over 7 million visitors a year. That was generating around $7 billion in revenue. This just goes to show you there's a powerful global curiosity to experience the culture and history we've been talking about. It points to an economic potential that exists way beyond oil and politics. So, as we start to wrap this up, let's try to weave all these different threads together into one enduring story. Ultimately, the big takeaway is that Iran just cannot be defined by a single story. It's a civilization that's been profoundly shaped by its dramatic geography. It's a culture defined by these ancient traditions of art and hospitality that are still going strong today. It's a place where an imperial past is still visible pretty much everywhere you look. And it's a young, modern nation that's trying to find its way in a very, very complex world. And that really leaves us with this final question. When we look past the headlines, what do we truly see? Is it a country defined solely by the conflicts of the last few decades? Or is it a civilization that has quietly endured, adapted, and created for thousands of years, and is still doing so today? The answer, as we've seen, is so much more complex than a headline could ever capture.